Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, people, so this Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk situation, it's taken a turn over the last day or so, in my opinion, for the worst, because these negotiations have been going on for what seems an eternity now. And obviously yesterday we had Mike Coppinger break a news story. I'll see if I can actually find it here and re-quote it. He says that the fight will likely not take place in Saudi Arabia, more than likely England, Wembley Stadium, if it happens at all. There's a long way to go in the process of trying to negotiate a deal that financially satisfies both men. And then no sooner did he tweet that the Sport Mail, said that Tyson Fury versus Usyk for the undisputed world title is reportedly now targeted for April 29th, like we were told originally, at Wembley Stadium. It's claimed that Fury will likely fight April 29th at Wembley, even if the Usyk deal can't be done. What does that imply? That implies that he has an opponent lined up already, because we're now in the middle of February, right? So you're telling me, right, that if, say, in the next week, this whole fight, or the next 2 weeks falls apart, that in 6 weeks someone's just going to randomly take the fight. Someone's obviously behind the scenes knows that they are potentially lined up to fight Tyson Fury, if in fact he is going to fight in Wembley Stadium. And when I done that video yesterday, I didn't fully go in, because obviously from the outside looking in, it obviously looks like one of these guys is holding it up. And who doesn't have a history of holding up negotiations? Who has a history of going into guys' backyards and fighting them? Well, it's Alexander Usyk. Who has a history of failed negotiations or stall tactics? Well, it's Tyson Fury. You know, you go and look at, good example would be, look at the Anthony. This is one of the times where I definitely disagree with Hatman. And, you know, I'll have a lot of respect for Hatman. You know, he's done a lot for me and, you know, respect him immensely. But he feels that it was more Team Joshua who didn't do their part to get the Fury fight over the line in December. And I've always said, I actually felt it was the other way around. Because it seemed to me that Fury was doing everything in his power to kind of say, well, here's the deal for Team Joshua, but make it as deliberately difficult as it can for them to just actually sign it. You know, putting deadlines in place and this and that, and the kind of take it or leave it kind of thing, which is something that, you know, you just don't do. Because a kind of take it or leave it thing, if you're offering someone a contract, you're going to say, well, look, let me have a look at it. Let me just make sure that this is to mine or my clients like it. If you're talking about solicitors and stuff like that involved, you're not just going to turn around and say, well, we only have so long to sign this, just sign it now and get it done. I always felt like with Fury, it was, how would I say it? That kind of, it was almost a way for, I even said this in a video, I think, that it was almost a way for Fury to be able to just hit Joshua over the head and say, I see, he ducked me when it came down to crunch time. Fight was there, good offer, 60-40, but he didn't want it, he ducked me, he let the contract go out. I always felt that was the case there. With this Alexander Usyk situation, it's just absolutely crazy. And, you know, people say, like, you know, oh, well, Alexander Usyk could have fought Tyson Fury in December. No, he couldn't have, and that was acknowledged by members of Team Fury, even in Top Rank, back in August, because I'm going to bring this up on screen. This is an article from the Daily Mail. This was in, I believe it was the end of August. It was just after Usyk fought Joshua. I'm going to quote ESPN's Mark Kriegel. This was in August 2022. You may have seen reports this week that the Saudis want to host a fight in December. Don't hold your breath on that. Quote, highly unlikely, according to Aram and others I spoke to. Likely date now, February, Super Bowl weekend, or maybe after. Probably the Middle East, but not necessarily Saudi Arabia. Remember, there's also Abu Dhabi, could also be a player. Qatar could be a player, and still outside shot, the UK gets it. He added, this is going to be a 50-50. I spoke to Bob Arum today. He said that he is given my other sources agree. He said that is a given. Oh, that is a given, and my other sources agree. So we have one point of the condition completely out of the way, or supposedly. That's welcome news. Proof for me the fight is going to happen. UK-based promoter Warren told Sports Mail the fight was definitely happen after progress in negotiations between the two camps. We're at the stage where we can say this enormous fight is definitely happening, said the Gypsy Kings promoter Frank Warren. Tyson is not vacating the WBC title. That was in August. We're now in the middle of February, and it looks like what the hell is happening with this fight. You know, there's talk of Fury fighting in April 29th, regardless whether it's Usyk, but against who we don't know. We've heard mention of Francis Ngannou. Now, Francis Ngannou is just a money grab fight. That's all it is, and that's why so many people like Dylan White, Joshua, Wilder, they want to fight Ngannou because it's a massive money fight with very little risk, because I don't think many people would be picking Ngannou at the highest level under Marcus of Queensberry rules. But yet somehow there are fans still giving Fury a pass, saying it's not his fault and that this is all Alexander Usyk, and Usyk should just take what he's given. Why should Usyk take just... So people are saying like he deserves a bigger purse split. If it happens in the UK, if we're talking 55-45, I would say probably, yeah, Usyk should take that, because I do think Fury is slightly the bigger name commercially, certainly in the UK. Yeah, he should take that. But if people are saying, well, you know, 60-40, he should take that, why? I think that 55 is the max he should be willing to give more to Tyson Fury. I mean, if Fury was willing to give AJ 60-40, AJ is the guy who got bet twice by Alexander Usyk. Why should Usyk be getting the same offer as Joshua? Furthermore, Usyk brings titles to the table, the titles that Fury supposedly for his legacy wants to get. You know, and you know, God help they turn around and they say 70-30 for Fury, because that's straight BS if that's the case. And this is the thing about the Fury fanboys. You know, they're a bit like Fury, in which they contradict themselves. I mean, Fury, the title of this thumbnail says boxing's biggest manipulator, because he is. Because he contradicts himself so much when it comes to money, when it comes to legacy, etc., etc. I mean, this is a guy who says that he's a man of the people, that he donated his purse to charity, and then money doesn't matter. And the fanboys of Fury to be saying, oh yeah, he's so brilliant, yeah, clearly a man of the people, money doesn't matter. But then you hear talk about him potentially, you know, wanting the lion's share of the purse. Yeah, he should get lion's share. Usyk should take 60-40, blah, blah, blah. Well, I thought he doesn't care about money. Well, he deserves to get paid. But he doesn't care about money. He said it himself. But yeah, he deserves to get paid. You know, when I was on about DAZN last week and their price increase, and I said, it's not that bad really when you think about it. It's £2, or potentially you're paying £100 for the year and it works out a little over £8. It's not that bad really. I think a lot of people went and overreacted at the price increase. I was like, it's not that bad. You'd other people saying in the comments, well, you know, you went in on Tyson Fury. I went in on Tyson Fury against Chisora for several reasons. One, again, man of the people, puts a fight on, record price in the UK against someone who he's beaten twice and has looked absolutely over the hill in his last 3 fights. That's who he put that on against on pay-per-view. And again, this is someone who apparently doesn't care about money. This is someone who, when he gets asked difficult questions, like he did in the True Geordie podcast when True Geordie interviewed him, bearing in mind, True Geordie was 100% respectful. His questions were not, you know, him trying to, you know, fish for a response from Fury and trying to fish, you know, for a reaction. He was asking him legit questions. He was prefacing everything by saying how much he admires Tyson Fury and how good a fighter he is. And no one's doubting Tyson Fury is a very, very good fighter. It's the character that we're bringing into question. And the minute True Geordie did that, you know, Fury was getting a bit agitated, and by the end he was like, you're never getting an interview, and you're you know what. And it's like, what did he do wrong? All he did was ask you questions that people want answers to, that people in the boxing media seem unwilling to answer. Obviously, True Geordie, he doesn't need to worry, because boxing is not his genre per se. Obviously, he's interviewed people like Eddie Hearn, but he's not a boxing YouTuber. He's just a podcaster in general. I think he does a lot more football and stuff like that, than a bit of everything really. So he doesn't need to worry about not getting Fury on again. But, you know, why is it that other people in the boxing media won't say that? It's because you get that, where he'll just turn around and say, well, you're not going to interview again. It's crazy. And yet people, the fanboys, will still defend him. I mean, Fury is the type of guy where if he told me, and this is seriously, if I met Tyson Fury and he told me, you know, go on outside, the sun is shining, I'll go out in a raincoat, because I just don't trust the word that comes out of his mouth. And this for me, like, it clear as day to me. I'm not saying he's ducking Usyk because he's afraid. I don't think Tyson Fury is afraid. I think he just wants the dollar. He wants the green. I think that's all this is about. And he's probably looking at Alexander Usyk and he's probably weighing up risk reward and probably thinking, do you know what? I could beat this guy. I have every confidence of beating this guy, but I want to get well paid. And if I'm having to, you know, give him X amount of money, even if I'm still coming out with more, but I could fight this guy who I'm guaranteed to beat, a Francis Ngannou, and make way more than that, why don't I just do that? You know, or maybe if I fight whoever in Wembley Stadium and then I fight Ngannou after, I'm still going to make more money in the long run than having one fight with Usyk. You know, and again, you know, people that be saying, Tyson Fury doesn't care about the money, etc., etc. So if he doesn't care about the money, why is this, from the outside looking in, it looks as though the issue was stemming from money, and it looks like Usyk, he wants to fight. Why is Usyk the one calling it out? Why is Usyk the one who's being a bit more vocal in his own way about this? Why are we hearing silence from Fury? And why are we hearing talk that there's not opponent lined up, but why are we hearing talk that he's going to fight regardless, whether it's Usyk, on April 29th? And as well as that, I was thinking of something I was going to say there. Now it's actually gone out of my mind, but it was a point. God Almighty, I hate it when that happens, but it's gone now. But for all the world, it looks like Team Fury is the one stalling this. And as I said, like, you look at Usyk and you look at his history. There's no history of him stalling any of these fights. If there's a fight there, he's wanting to get it made. He's going to their backyards. But he's going in as the unified champion. I know Fury commercially is the bigger name. So if you're talking 45-55, I understand that. But as I quoted Mark Riegel there, they were saying it was going to be 50-50. So what? Is Fury willing to give Joshua 60-40, but he's not willing to give Usyk that? Does he want more? Because as far as I'm concerned, that's straight BS. So that's my thoughts on this. I want this fight to happen. I've said this once, I'll say it again. I want this fight to happen. I want to see Undisputed. From the outside looking in, it looks like it's Team Fury that are stalling this. And really, I won't accept anything other than Alexander Usyk. It's same with Usyk. If it was Usyk saying, I wouldn't mind fighting, Anthony Joshua a third time, I'd be saying, nah, man, you're fighting Fury. What's the point in fighting him a third? What's the point in fighting Wilder? You're fighting Fury. So I won't accept anything less from either man. But it seems to me like Usyk is the one who wants this fight. It seems that's the only fight in boxing he wants. Whereas Tyson Fury, where's that same energy? Again, he's happy to call Usyk a middleweight. His fans are happy to say, oh, Usyk's only a middleweight. If he's all these things and more, if he's a middleweight, if he can't punch, if he's only tiny, why doesn't Fury just take the fight and beat him? Again, at the end of the day, if he doesn't care about the money, right, and he's fighting this little middleweight, why doesn't he not just go, fight him for whatever is on the table, and beat him up? Because Usyk's a little middleweight anyway. You shouldn't put a glove on Tyson Fury, and Fury's a man that the people doesn't care about the money, so why is money coming into it, But then his fans will say, oh no, but he deserves to get paid, but he doesn't care about money. So where's the common ground there? So he doesn't care about money, but yet he deserves more money. Alexander Usyk is an easy fight, right? He's an easy fight. Apparently he's a middleweight, and Fury doesn't care about money, but Usyk should take less money because Fury deserves more money. You see where kind of that's not adding up there? That and nothing I'm saying in this video you can say isn't factual either. This is how it is from the outside looking in. It looks to me like Team Fury are the ones who are stalling this fight. For whatever reason, I don't know. Are they waiting for Usyk to get old? Hatman said that best case scenario, Fury could be injured. As in, like, he mentioned that he had an injury post-fight against Chisora and maybe he's waiting for it to heal. And that possibly could be it. But if that was the case, I would be worried hearing the fact that he's going to fight April 29th regardless. Because that would imply to me that it's not the injury. If it was the injury and we were hearing that, like, oh, this fight might get pushed back to May or June, I might say could be onto something there because we haven't heard anything from him. But the fact that we're hearing he's going to fight on April 29th regardless, that implies to me that it's not an injury, or if it is an injury, it's not the main cause. Long-winded one here, bit of a rant, but I really I want this fight to happen. I want to see Undisputed. And it bugs me because there really shouldn't be any factors why this fight shouldn't happen. There's no mandatories hanging over these guys. There's no rematch clauses with this fighter or that fighter hanging over these guys. There's no promotional issues hanging over these guys. So it should be a simple case. There's no network issue either. It should be a simple case of just get the flipping fight made. Usyk seems to be willing to want it. Usyk's the one making the noise for this fight. Usyk apparently, this is the only fight in boxing he wants. But where's that same energy from Fury? I haven't seen it. Someone who's normally so vocal, I haven't seen it. So from the outside looking in, that's what it's looking like to me. And I'm just pointing out his track history of being less than honest with the truth. I mean, we've seen that throughout his career. Go back to the David Price days. It's easy to look back in hindsight now and say, oh, if he had fought him, at the end of the day, he would have beaten him. And yeah, he probably would have beaten him. In fact, definitely would have beaten David Price. But you had Frank Maloney, what was he offering, $500,000 to Fury? If Fury went in a different direction? That was back in, 2012, 2013? So that's going back a decade, history of this kind of thing. That was for the British title, remember? So there you go. I mean, I'd be interested to know in the comment section what the Fury fanboys have to say on this. I've seen a lot of them say yesterday that, look, our fans are Fury, but it's not looking good. And, finally, the penny is dropping. A lot of them will defend him from heaven to high water. They won't. They'll just, no matter what he does, he is infallible to criticism. Tyson Fury is a tremendous fighter. I've said that from the start. He's a tremendous fighter. He's tremendous. He may very well be, if he's not already, the best heavyweight of this era. But in terms of how he operates, in terms of business, in terms of his character, nah, it's off. It's definitely off. And you can't look at it objectively and say he's not doing some shady business in terms of negotiations and things. He doesn't have a history of it either. You can't objectively say that's not true, because it is. So I guess that's a bit of a rant in terms of this situation with Fury, with Usyk. I'm ranting. I'm kind of peeved off about it because I want this fight to happen. I want to see who the best the heavyweight is. I want to see who's going to be the undisputed champion. There hasn't been one since Lennox Lewis. It's the closest we've come in the last 20 odd years. Let's get it on. Let's make it happen. I really want to see it. There's no reasons why we shouldn't have it next. So the longer we leave it, mandatory start getting called. Usyk's not getting any younger. He's 36, 37 now. He's not getting any younger. So there's only a finite time where we can get this fight over the line. The longer we leave it, the less likely it's going to be that we're ever going to see this. But we will eventually, at some point in the future, see it. But when is the question? Because when Fury retires and Usyk retires, those belts are going to get vacated. They're going to get fragmented. How long is it going to take for someone to pick them all up again? Could take a while. So this is heavyweight boxing. It's unpredictable. You never know what might happen. Look at Joshua getting beat by Ruiz. That set him back a while. So, yeah, look, long-winded one. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I have a fair idea, that if there's problems with negotiations, it ain't going to be from Usyk. I'll put it like that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Hit the like button if you could. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts, as always. Thanks again to the Hit Company. I hadn't mentioned them already, but for sponsoring this video, as always. I'll talk to you people.